Want to know what a real man would tell their lady about love and life? You're in the right place. This is Hello Ladies with Rom Wills. Rom Wills is a speaker and author of several books on relationships. Grab some wine, sit back, and enjoy.
Hello, ladies. Welcome to my spot. Yeah, I'm still raggedy, so yeah, y'all ain't get me live for maybe next video after next. Depends on when I make it. Anyway, getting to know a man. You know what? I'm gonna tell y'all a story, and because I'm gonna tell you what. Well, let me start with the story first. I went to this retreat, right? It's an overnight retreat. And it was primarily black men and black women. American black men and black women. You did have one young lady from Ethiopia, but it was still all black, right? And I remember when the retreat first started, there was nothing but tension between the men and women, right? It was nothing but tension. I mean, there were points it seemed like some violence was going to break out or something. Yeah, it was that deep, right? And I remember at one point, part of the retreat was just the men and women dancing, right? And it was like one of those things from grade school. You had the men on one side and the women on the other side, and I was just like, okay. And Ron being, my rowdy ass self, I was like grabbing men physically and throwing them in with the women. They were like, Rom, you being rough. I'm like, shit, man. Fuck that sausage party shit. But part of the reason why there was a split, because there was tension, right? And some women even said privately, they were talking trash about the men. They don't look that good. Those ain't some kings. It's like, damn. But a funny thing happened by the last day of the retreat. It was almost like an orgy up in that joint. A figurative orgy, right? Because what had happened, everybody got past their surface bullshit and was getting to know each other. Got to know each other, and people were opening up. I remember at one point, this was a deep retreat, a woman who had earlier, because we'd had an exercise where we were looking into each other's eyes. Earlier, the first time we did this, there was a particular woman there who was looking at me like she's going to kill me. Didn't know me from Jack. No, seriously, it was like just some straight hostility, right? We did the exit. Two things happened with that woman. The second time we did it, she was actually having orgasms from me looking in her eyes. She was enjoying it. It was a tantra retreat, right? Anyway. But then there was another incident because a lot of stuff came up in that retreat. Now, I remember there was a point I started crying, right? Because something had made me think about my grandmother who had passed. And, even though it had been years since she had passed, I ain't, just because of everything going on, I ain't never really got a chance to cry about it. So there was a point I was crying. So this same woman who looked like she was going to take my head off at the beginning of the retreat, she was the main one comforting me. She was the main one putting her arms around me and holding me. I was like, damn. And that was some powerful stuff. But see, here's my whole point with that story and what had happened at that retreat. I saw what happened when black men and black women, instead of looking at each other on a surface thing, got to know each other. Now, I know some women might see this, well, yeah, they need to get to know us, but, this is the women's channel. I'm speaking to y'all now. A lot of times, black women especially lose out on a great man because they judge him on his surface things. His surface thing, right? Now, I know all women, regardless of race, have a tendency to judge a man right away. But if we're going to have black women in the media, whether it's mainstream media on some news show or on social media complaining about the quality of men, they need to at least get to know them. Because when I talk to a lot of women, a lot of times they just rejecting the guy, not even just because he's physically unattractive. It's rare that the woman would just say, you know what, he was just ugly. It's usually because, he didn't have style or something like that, or he didn't look a certain way. he ain't look, if they more upper class, he ain't look professional enough, or more lower class, he ain't look more thug enough. And, that's really unacceptable many times. And I've alluded to this before because it's a constant theme. And this is something I've talked about since the first time I wrote a pamphlet for ladies, finding a good man. Get to know that man. And it don't necessarily mean a date. Sometimes if a dude approach you, as long as that dude is polite and you're just not in a big hurry, you can talk to him for a few seconds. You can see what's up. You can find out a lot. Now, if he coming up and he's disrespecting you and stuff, oh yeah, blow him out the water, curse his ass out or something like that. But if he's respectful, as long as he's respectful, you might be surprised. And if he's respectful, unless you got somebody, unless he is just totally hideous to you. When I say totally hideous, it's just like one of those things you can't fake. Get to know that dude. And let's be real. Unless you one of those people, like for those who follow my Deep Thought channel, who, you just on a vibration where you constantly run into dusty dudes all the time. Most brothers out here, are going to at least be, keep a good haircut. They're going to be clean. They're going to at least present their best self. Most will do it. Get to know that guy. Find out. Find out. It ain't going to kill you to talk to him. Maybe talk to him on the phone. You can find out a lot. There was recently a woman I met, there was an initial attraction, but talked to her, it wasn't a click. And that's cool. But see, a lot of women, a lot of sisters especially, right? A lot of sisters, they complain, and this is something I said in my book, Finding a Good Man. A lot of sisters complaining about, women of other races, getting with some brother or something. But one of the main things they do is they don't blow the man out the water just for saying hi. They at least get to know him. If they find him reasonably attractive or decent looking, as long as he's polite, they'll at least get to know him. That's really all it is. Everybody come up with all this other stuff, but, bottom line, they at least try to get to know him. Find out about him. Just, hey, you can ask him a few questions and be open to it. Don't have that list like, oh, he got to say this, he got to say that. Be open. He might hit you with something new. Seriously. A lot of times there's a lot of diamonds out there, a lot of diamond men. And to be clear, because I know somebody will say, well, are you telling the men this? Yeah, I have. Anybody who's checked my videos, every at least once a month, I probably do a video on men taking their time and finding out what's in a woman's head, looking for a quality woman. So I can't tell them that and not tell women that. But yeah, get to know that man. Find out what's going on with him. You might have some surprise. Get off the surface thing. My mentor in the video, he said, one thing with black people, we get caught up into the surface. We think something is good because it looks good on the surface. But then we don't check for substance. Because, and I know a lot of women, they'll say, well, he need to have substance, or they'll get with some, he didn't have substance. It was like, well, did you check for substance at first, or did you just like his smile? Did you check for substance at first, or he was just tall? Well, did you check for substance at first, but he was just some like muscular mandingo type brother? So if you want it, how is you gonna find out? Most guys now you're not gonna see anything about really any man in the first 5 minutes or first minute. Nothing. You ain't gonna see anything because it's impossible. It's impossible to fit in everything about that person. Impossible. You cannot fit a lifetime of experience about a man. A man can't fit it into 1 minute. And every guy isn't like the big player type who just know what to say in that moment. In fact, women should be wary of that type of guy if you want to be honest. Because that type of guy, if he knows just the right things, right way to get you, then he know other women. So unless you want to share that, man, you should be wary of it anyway. So, anyway, right? That's it for today. Y'all keep doing what y'all doing. Oh, don't worry, I'm still drinking the wine and stuff. So anyway, I'll talk to you later. Peace and blessings, sisters.